Hey guys, it's Saara, and today we're going to be talking about my most anticipated releases for winter 2024. So that's going to include new releases from January and February of this year. So I've recently realized that there are a lot of books coming out soon that I'm really interested in. So I decided to just look up new releases, and it turns out there are a lot of books coming out in January and February that I'm super interested in. So some of these books are from authors that I've read before and are sequels to series that either I'm currently reading or have previously read, but a lot of these books are new to me authors, and some of them might even be debut authors, though I didn't look that up. I'm really excited about all of the new fantasy coming up. I think the majority of this video are going to be fantasy books, and I'm super excited for it. So we're going to start with books that come out on January 9th, which is when this video comes out. So for those books, the first one I have to talk about is The Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake. So this is a series that I literally just picked up. I finished the first book last week and I absolutely loved it, and I'm already loving the second book as well. So I know I'm going to be picking this one up as soon as I can get my hands on it. I have to finish the second book first, but it's definitely going to be a binge read for me. This is kind of like a dark academic setting, but the first book is following 6 characters who are chosen to join the Alexandria Society, and they each have unique magical abilities, and they are the best in the world of what they are doing. But there's just so much more to it than that, and I love just everything about it. I love the way the characters are written, I love the writing style, and I love the more complex, intricate plot. So excited to finish the book and to move on to the next one. So I'm excited for the conclusion to come out as well. The next book that I'm super excited about is Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Seanan McGuire. So this is the next book in the Wayward Children series, which is a portal fantasy series made up of a series of novellas, and they're all kind of set in different worlds. I'm not sure what this one is about because I don't like to go into these knowing too much about it, but it sounds like it might be outside of the known worlds, which just sounds interesting, and I'm really excited for that. Some of these books I end up really loving, and then some of them I don't like as much, so we'll see, but I am excited to get to this one as well. The next book is by a new to me author that I've never read before, but I saw this book and I was just like, this seems really interesting. It's called The Djinn Waits 100 Years by Shubnam. So this is set in South Africa in a ruined mansion, and there is a djinn that is kind of haunting this mansion, and it's about a curious girl and this djinn. It just seems like a really great atmosphere, and I just love interesting, fantastical settings, so I'm excited to see more of this book. I also really like djinn or genie fantasy because I don't read a whole lot of them, and I want to get more of them that I actually like. So I'm really excited to get to this, and hopefully I'll end up loving it. The next book is coming out on January 16th. It's called So Let Them Burn by Kamilah Cole, and this one is a Jamaican-inspired fantasy, which is just awesome, and it is about a heroine who is trying to protect her homeland from a dragon riding empire, which is just awesome, and I'm excited to see what this one brings. It sounds like there's gonna be a lot of adventure and action, and I'm so there for it. Then on January 18th, we have Faebound by Saara El-Arifi. This one is about an elven warrior who is exiled and ends up in the Fae court, which I'm not the biggest fan of Fae. I like the concept of Fae, but there are very few executions of it that I actually like, but I like the concept of this a lot. So I'm excited to see what this author can do with it. I've never read this author before, but I've heard good things, so I'm excited for that. The next one is coming out on February 23rd, and it's an author that I definitely have read before, and the book is Destroy the Day by Brigid Kemmerer. So this is going to be the finale of the Defy the Night series that I literally just started. I finished the first book in it recently, and I enjoyed it so much more than I was expecting to, and I'm currently reading the second book, so I will definitely be picking this one up as soon as possible so that I can just binge read this entire series. It is such a fast-paced YA fantasy, and I just love how quickly Brigid Kemmerer can create relationships that I actually care about. So I'm enjoying this a lot, and I'm really excited for the third novel to come out. And the last book that I have in January that I'm excited for is coming out on January 30th, and that is House of Flame Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. So this one I have a little mixed feelings about because I didn't love the second book in the series, but I really liked the ending, which made me really excited for the next book in the series. I'm not gonna say what the ending was, but it just makes me super excited for the finale. So hopefully it ends up delivering, which her books are very hit or miss for me. Sometimes I really hate them, sometimes I don't care about them, and sometimes I end up really loving them. So I'm hoping this one is going to be the latter. So next we're gonna be talking about books that come out on February 6th. So the first one I have in this list is The Women by Kristin. This is the only non-fantasy book that is on this list, but Kristin is an author that I absolutely love. She's one of my auto-buy authors, and she writes historical fiction. This one is set in a divided country, I believe, and it's about the women in that country and apparently how they could be heroes. I think I didn't read too much into it because generally with my auto-buy authors, I like to go into it a little bit blind, and I just know that Kristin does a really good job of writing female character relationships, so I am definitely there for this, and I'm really excited for her new release. Then we have another author that I've read before, and this one is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. Again, I try to not know too much about books by authors that I've already read that I know I'm and probably end up liking, but I've read his Foundry Side series, and I just love the way he does magic systems. He has very original and interesting magic systems, and I just love that about his books, and I'm excited to see what else he comes out with. Then we have The Warm Hands of Ghost by Katherine Arden. This is another author that I've read before. I read her Winter Night series, which was beautifully written, so I'm really excited to read more by this author, and this one I believe is a historical fantasy, and I'm really excited to see what it's about. And last but not least, we have a new to me author with Infinity Alchemist, which is a new YA fantasy series by Kacen Callander. I've never read this author before, but they're definitely on my radar, and I've been meaning to pick up works by them. And alchemists are another type of fantasy element that I don't see a lot of, and I definitely want to see more of it. I definitely would like to see more stories about this that I actually end up really loving, so I'm excited to see if this can be one of them. Now we're gonna move on to books that are coming out on February 13th. First one that I want to talk about is The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. So this one is following a bookshop employee who has one of her favorite customers die right in front of her. She finds the last book that he was reading, which is The Book of Doors, that promises that any door can be every door, which is literally all the description has, but it sounds like a portal fantasy to me, which I'm there for pretty much all portal fantasies, and I'm just interested to see what this book brings. So I've never read this author before, but I'm excited to see what he can do with this concept. Next, we have The Fox Wife by Yangse Choo. So this is an historical fantasy, and it is Asian inspired. I didn't see too much about it, but I've heard really great things about this author, and it just seems like a nice wintry book that could be very interesting. It also talks about chi. That is a concept I'm more and more interested in the more I hear about it, so I'm excited to see what this book has to offer. Next, we have Neferura by Malayna Evans. This one is a tale of a forgotten daughter of an Egyptian pharaoh. Again, another historical fantasy set in an interesting setting that I'm just so there for. I'm so excited for all these new diverse books that are coming out. I love every second of it, and I'm super excited for this one. I have never read this author before, so I'm excited to see their works as well. So next we're going to be moving on to books that are coming out on February 20th. The first book that I have on this is A Tempest in Tea by Hafsah Faizal. So I have read this author before. I read We Hunt the Flame by the same author, and I enjoyed it. It was a YA fantasy, and I believe this one's YA as well. And this book is the first book in a duology that apparently is about vampires, which is not my favorite, but I'm excited to see what this author can do in a different type of fantasy setting. This should be interesting, and I'm excited to see what she does with this. Also on February 20th, we have Island Witch by Amanda Jayatissa, which is a Sri Lankan folklore inspired like historical gothic fantasy, which is literally all I needed to know about it to want to read this. I've never read this author before, so I'm super excited to see what she can do, and it just sounds like a really atmospheric, fantastical read, so I'm really excited for that. And then the last book on this list is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. I've actually never read this this author before, but I'm somewhat familiar with her work through other people talking about it. I don't know too much about it, but people seem to like her works, and this one is a Norse-inspired fantasy, so I'm excited to see what this author can do. I might actually go back and read some of her backlisted books first, just because new releases can be hard to get to right away, but I definitely think this is one that I'll also end up picking up, and I'm really excited to see what she can do. That is all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I post videos on Tuesdays and Saturdays, so consider subscribing, and I occasionally post bonus videos, so if you'd like to be notified as soon as I upload, you should click that little bell icon. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!